You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
Early on Monday morning, the decision came down from Blaine Bradford. Of course, we're all very familiar with Blaine Bradford, five-star safety out of Catholic High School here in Baton Rouge. Long time projected LSU commit. Top 25 player in the country. Number 2 player in the state of Louisiana, but the number 1 safety. Top 5 safety in all of college football. And on Monday morning, he picks Ohio State over LSU and Texas. Shea Dixon, whenever he's been here, and he'll be here obviously on Tuesday, so we'll get plenty more on this situation and where LSU turns next. But Shea Dixon, when he's been here every week, and when he's been asked about Blaine Bradford, has always really noted LSU, Ohio State. So while maybe it shouldn't come as a surprise, I think it is absolutely fair to categorize this as an upset for the time being. And that's really the important part, right? For the time being. It's March 31st. We're all a very long way away from the early signing period in December. So that's really the first half of this conversation. Doesn't this one just feel like it's very, very, very far from over? Like, a player of Blaine Bradford's caliber, LSU's not going to stop recruiting that guy. He's the number 25 player in the country. He's the number 2 safety. He's the number 2 player in your entire state, and he's in your backyard. Yeah, that's one you don't really want to see get away. You're never going to just stop recruiting him, especially with so many of the avenues that you have to him that we'll get into momentarily. But just kind of big picture, when it comes to early commits these days in college football, I don't know if they've ever meant less. Just because it was always fluid. Recruiting, always fluid. But now with the revenue share and NIL on top of that, there are plenty of things that can sway recruits and their families and things of that nature. And you know what? Maybe Blaine Bradford sticks with Ohio State and he goes up to Columbus. You know what? If he does, good for him. You wish the kid well. Would it sting for LSU? Absolutely. You don't want that kid to get out of the state, especially being in your own backyard. But sometimes guys just want to go away for college. We talk about that plenty when discussing recruiting. Maybe he's one of them. Time will tell. But LSU's not going to take this, lying down. They're going to continue to recruit, continue to push. And they have some things that work in their advantage. Number one, he's right down the road from you. You can go see him anytime, unless it's like a dead period or something. But you have the quickest and easiest path to Blaine Bradford of any other school that he's considering or that will keep recruiting him now that he is committed to Ohio State. The timing of this is interesting, and it plays into another avenue that you have. Blaine Bradford, over this past weekend, was in Columbus on an unofficial visit. He pops on Monday morning. He still has official visits lined up to his top 3, Ohio State, LSU, and Texas. Those are all supposed to take place in June. Shea comes on here all the time and tells you, watch what a recruit does, not necessarily what they say. With Bradford and Ohio State, it's been a bit of both. He said all the right things. Did so again on Monday morning. Loves the relationship with Ryan Day and his position coach. His family loves the relationship. They've enjoyed their trips up to Columbus. He took a visit this past fall. Really liked it. Was again back there again. So like he's showing you, there's real interest there because he's visiting. It's not just, the coaches call me every day and whatnot, and we have a great relationship. No, he's visiting. So checks out. But watching what he does down the stretch here now, when you get through the summer and you get into the fall, that's really going to be key because maybe his official visit schedule changes, but from all accounts, he's still expected to take an official to LSU. And then with the proximity, you're able to get him on campus easier. Does that frequency increase during the fall? And then there's the fact that his older brother, Jacob Bradford, is a freshman defensive back on this year's LSU team who, mind you, was at one time committed to Houston, I think it was, before he ended up pledging to LSU. He was committed elsewhere. Pretty sure it was Houston. It's going to take full court press because Ohio State's a legit player here. Clearly, he's visited enough. They've gotten his commitment. But I would not count out LSU flipping this down the stretch here once you get into the fall in recruiting. So that's the Bradford piece of it. The other part is what you have at safety and what you're still pursuing at safety if you're LSU. And this is where the conversation with Shea on Tuesday gets interesting, because Shea can give you much more on who you're still pursuing, maybe what your backup options are. I know there's the kid out of St. Francis in Maryland whose name is escaping me currently, but Shea has mentioned him a couple of times as well as someone LSU is pursuing heavily in the safety market. He's a top 5 guy. Also, Georgia, Auburn, a host of SEC schools in on him as well. Certainly seems like he's going to leave the state for college. So, I mean, it's you have that in your corner. And also you have Aiden Hall committed already. And Aiden Hall is the number 3 safety overall in the country. He's a top 50 player in America. He's, I believe, the number 4 player in the state, and he's the number 2 safety in the state. You've got a really good one in Aiden Hall, already pledged out of Edna Carr, and he seems about as solid as he can be. Does this sting for LSU right now? Having Jacob Bradford, Blaine Bradford go to Ohio or commit to Ohio State? Yeah, it does, of course. But it's March 31st, and there's a long, long way to go in his recruitment and in recruitment of a lot of guys. You like what you have in the class so far, and you're still building there when it comes to safety, and he's going to be a part of that. And then also, you have a lot of young talent at safety on the team already. A guy like Deshaun Spears, who's expected to take a jump here in 2025, hopefully seeing more playing time, albeit on a rotational basis. Now, they've raved about Joe Rogers getting extended reps due to some injuries in the secondary, like with a guy like Jordan Gilbert. He seems to certainly be taking a step in spring. Obviously, there's Javen Toviano, who I guess, I don't know if you can call him young talent anymore, but I mean, this is third year in the program. But a guy who untapped potential, we'll call it there, and he's been getting plenty of reps. You expect Jordan Gilbert, Tamarcus Cooley to be your starters, but things change throughout a season. So you're in a better spot at safety, potentially going forward than you were a few years ago. Still a major position of need and one that they will address. And Blaine Bradford is going to continue to be a part of LSU addressing that decision from now, March 31st, through the summer, through the fall, and up until signing day in December, the early signing period, we should say.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.